Welcome to Rick Rack Ruby. I'm Laura Cluvo. Today we will be making the Dangle Angel Ornament. She's fun and easy, so let's get started. I was checking out at Joann Fabrics the other day, and right under the counter, the cutting counter where they cut the fabric, there were these packages of double fold bias tape in red. And instantly I just knew I wanted to make some of these. I've done them before, but always with vintage materials, and just seeing the red and knowing that it was modern and current and not hard to find just made me want to dive in. So we're going to make the little Dangle Angel, and she is really fun and easy, and it's easy to customize her. We're going to start with, this is a 20 millimeter wooden bead that I've already created, the Rick Rack Ruby face. And here's a little wooden spool and 2 wooden beads. These are for the feet. I will give you the exact dimensions for these in the supply list. The first thing we want to do is just apply some kind of a trim. I'm using Rick Rack because, hello, Rick Rack Ruby. And but you don't have to use Rick Rack. You can use anything. This will be the bodice. It doesn't show very much, but it is the opportunity to give your design a little bit of your own personal touch. So I'm going to apply white glue to, it doesn't take much, just a couple of inches. White glue to one side of this, and just glue it to the spool. There we go. Now I'm going to wrap it around the spool. And I just want to get this step done first because I want to make sure that's dry as I continue. So the overlap part here will be the back. This will be the front, and you can see that I've applied the trim toward closer to one edge, and that's going to be the top. Meanwhile, I took the double fold bias tape and I stitched it together. There's a little trick to it. One side, the fold is shorter than the other. Anyway, that's the side that I sewed, the shorter side, just to make sure I caught both folds. When I stitch it, I stitched all 4 yards of this, and I'm just going to cut it as needed. There's a 20-inch piece for the body and legs, and there's a 7-inch length for the arms. So to get started, I'm going to fold the long piece in half. Then I also have this red and white baker's twine, which I'm using for the hanging loop. This is going to go through the spool. This is way too long. The size of this needle. Okay, so through the spool, pull that through and through the head. Just until the top of the bias tape is right at the top of her head. So not out like that, but just at the top. And then I'm going to separate these 2 layers, I don't know what to call them, and insert the arm piece like this. And then push the spool back up. That looks good. Making sure the overlap part of the trim is in the back, and that the top of the spool is right there. And then I'm going to tie this in a square knot right here to secure. I'll add a little bit of glue right in here. That's hot glue. And that helps to secure the head and also prevents the arms from slipping through. Now this is so long, it's going to drive me crazy, so I'm going to just tie this off and trim it. And then the ends of the legs are going to go through these little beads for feet. I'll tie one overhand knot in each end and pull the wooden bead down. I want to be sure that they don't have to be exactly the same length, but you know, somewhere near the same length. Great, that looks good. And then another overhand knot for each hand. And now honestly, with this start, you can make anything. It's really fun. You could make her body out of felt, out of lace, out of something vintage. You can make a boy, you could make a Santa, you can make anything. But since I have this giant pile of leftover mini charm squares, I decided to use these. These are not from any one collection. They're kind of from a variety of collections. And I just decided to go white, red, green, white, red, green. And I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and I'm just going to stitch them together, boom, 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 in a row. So the mini charm squares are sewn together for the skirt, and I just want to remind you that the mini charm square is a 2.5 inch square. They're really fun. There's a lot of projects you can make with them, and this is one of my favorites. So I sewed them all together with a very small seam allowance, and I pressed the seams away from the whites, just more toward the darker fabrics. And now I'm going to sew this together to form a ring. There's my ring, and I just want to make sure there's a snowman. Okay, so the snowman, so this will be the top right here. And I think I'm going to make this white print the center front. So I'm going to start gathering right here at the center back and just gather up around the entire piece with a double strand of heavy duty thread. So I'm going to stitch starting here at the center back, and I'm just going to go all the way around with a running stitch and just go all the way around the circle, just through the single layer of fabric. There, and I'm going to end on the outside just so I can see my thread. Pull it tight, make sure it looks right. Then I'll place this skirt on the angel. Her little dangly legs go through, and I wanted this piece, this white, to be in the center front like this. And then I'll draw it together, pull it tight. There's the back. The back is cute too, with the red, white, green. I'm going to try to distribute the fullness evenly. And just to be really super secure. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this like a little belt, pull it nice and tight, making sure I have the white in the center, and then I'll secure this in the back. I'm going to lift this up in the back and squeeze out some hot glue right there just to hold that securely. Great. Okay, now we'll do her hair. I'm using this fine curly mohair. Sometimes it's called loopy. I'm going to make 6 loops on each side. So I'll hold the end like this with my left hand and wrap this 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then wrap and tie in the center to form a figure 8. I'll do this again for a second bundle. Oops, there. Let me do it again, and I won't talk. Okay, hold it, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and make an X. Take the top piece and go all the way around, and then the original end that you've been holding on to, put over the top and tie into a square knot. And then when you trim these ends, don't cut them too short because you don't want it to come untied. So now we have 2 figure-8 bundles for the hair. We're going to start with the back. So I will apply a circle of glue back here, and I'll press the bundle, one of the bundles, either one, into the circle, the disc of glue, there. So all the loops are secured to the back of the head. And then the second bundle will be styled in the front. So I'll put some hot glue right here in front of the hanging loop, and I'll press the center of the bundle right there, being careful not to get the hanging loop caught in the glue. And then I'm going to twist this to the back, press it to the side of the head, and secure it with glue. Same thing with this side, twist and press. And if I went too fast or if it's confusing, I do have a video called Ruby's Hair Technique, and you can catch up there. Twist and press. Twist and press. That looks good. Now we'll add her halo. This is 20 gauge wire. I'll cut off just about 2 inches. It doesn't take very much. And then I wrap it around my thimble just to make sure I get a nice round shape. And I shape it into a U like this. And I'll apply glue to each end and then press the ends into the hair on either side of the head. And that is nice and secure. So there's her halo. Then we'll add a couple of little decorations. This is also from Joann Fabrics. I like to add a little flower to the front of her collar, like underneath her chin where her neck is. Either one of these is great, or anything similar. So I'll apply some glue to the back and just press that on right below her face like that. I like this ribbon. I don't know, I just really like the classics. I like gingham and eyelet and rickrack and baker's twine and calico, just felt. All the sort of classic craft supplies that, you know, I used when I was a girl, and they're still fun today. Okay, so I tied a bow from this. This was from Hobby Lobby. It's just about a 3/8 of an inch wide gingham ribbon. That's nice. I'm going to cut the streamers so they're a little bit shorter than the skirt. I'll apply some glue here to the back of the bow and press that right into the center of her waist. This also helps to disguise any of the raw edges there of the skirt. That's looking good. So almost done. Now for the wings, I'm just doing solid red. I got this pad of, it's not really a pad, it's just individual sheets of paper from Michaels. Just solid red paper. And I cut out this scallop circle with my die cutting machine, folded the paper in half, and I sewed around the edge with a decorative stitch. You know, I love to make the wings this way, but you don't have to. The diameter of the wing piece, let's measure it this way, is about 3 3/4 inches. It's about 9.5 centimeters. You could just do a 3 3/4 inch circle, fold it in half, and then do a decorative stitch, and you would have the same effect. Then you can cut it out with scalloping shears or with pinking shears, or you can add a little trim around the edge. You can do a lot of things with this, but I'm going to apply some hot glue right here in the center. And then I'm going to press the back of her head into that glue. Now let's see, did I forget anything? I was trying to keep this very, very basic with all modern supplies that are available right now at your local Joann Fabrics, Hobby Lobby, Michaels. It's just everything you can find right now. As long as you have a stack of mini charm squares the way that I do, I could make a lot of really cute projects with these. Thank you for watching my tutorial. If you're enjoying my videos, please like, share, and subscribe.